Hello everyone, welcome to REVCORP TECH, a series dedicated to reviewing computer parts and products and how to best optimize them. I'm your host RC Matt, and today we're going to go over the RX 6500 XT. If you're familiar with this card, then you know it's been one of the most controversial cards that has been released by AMD as of late. Although a $200 MSRP graphics card, this only comes with 4GB of GDDR6 video memory, no hardware encoding support, which means that if you wanted to stream or do any video editing, you have to rely solely on the CPU for that, and it generally has less cores than its older cousin, the 5500 XT. Worse, it comes with only 4 PCIe Gen 4 express lanes, limiting its full potential, especially on older systems that run on the PCIe Gen 3 standards, such as the Intel 2000 series, Ryzen 2000 series, or the Intel 10th Gen series of processors. However, these topics have already been discussed ad nauseum by bigger tech YouTubers such as Linus Tech Tips and Gamers Nexus. Both of their reviews will be linked down in the video description. Today, we're just gonna mainly talk about in the aspect if you're a new consumer and you're looking for a new card but you don't have the budget for it, how would you best be able to optimize this card to fit your use case, and also how would it work if you were also streaming on Twitch, for example. The system configuration for this test will be an i5 11400, 16GB of CL19 3200 megahertz RAM, clocked at 2600 megahertz, which has a memory capacity of 16 gigabytes, a 512 gigabyte NVMe SSD by Team Group, which has a read-write speed of 1700 megabytes per second. And it's also going to be all run on a Asus B560 motherboard with Wi-Fi. And of course, the Radeon 5500 XT we are using for this build is going to be the Gigabyte Eagle variant. So with that being said, let's get to the benchmarks.
Starting with Pummel Party, we got an average SPS of 168 across 10 minigames we played. This game is made to run on integrated graphics, however, so it is kind of expected for this game to run like this. Moving on to Tribes of Midgard, we got an average of 222 FPS out of this game. This is surprising since this game requires more beefy parts to run, meaning this game is very well optimized compared to Pummel Party. Running the in-game benchmark for Mountain Blade Battlelord for a 200 vs 200 battle, we got an average of 113 FPS out of this title. For Total War Warhammer 3, we ran the battle benchmark, which gave us an average of 66 FPS. However, this game recently came out and it has been plagued with optimization issues, so we may see an FPS increase over the next few months. For PUBG, we got an average of 203 FPS with this card. Finally, we were able to get some results for Elden Ring. We got an average of 54 FPS out of this title outdoors and a capped 60 FPS indoors. This game did stutter here and there, but it was primarily caused by the game loading in the map. This is a known issue and From Software is already working on a fix, but other than that, this title runs very smooth. By the end of this gaming test run, we got an average power consumption of around 80 watts, so this card is very efficient. In terms of streaming, this setup will definitely hit 100% in some titles, which in itself isn't a bad thing. What is something to be concerned about is that the CPU temps will reach over 100 degrees Celsius, if not in a case with proper airflow, or the CPU doesn't have an adequate cooler. However, besides that, we got a similar FPS for games such as Battlelord and Elden Ring, with a slight dip to the low 40s for the latter. However, our CPU was thermothrottling at this point, which means that the performance loss is because our CPU was limiting its performance to prevent damage, rather than the GPU being too weak to catch up. The footage you are seeing on screen was captured while streaming, and in our opinion, you will better notice any performance drops besides what we've previously mentioned.
In conclusion, we can see that the 6500 XT, although with obvious flaws, is still a perfectly suitable card if you want to build a new computer from scratch and are on a budget. You can always buy a used 5500 XT or an RX 580 on the used market for cheaper. However, not only would you have to take the time and effort to make sure the card isn't damaged, but you'll also be forfeiting things that would come with a newer card, such as warranty protections. At REVCORP, we recommend getting the Radeon RX 6600 if you want the hardware encoding support or want to run it on older computer systems. However, with a decent air cooler This system configuration is perfect if you want to stream or video edit. With that being said, thank you all for coming out, and I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye, everyone.